Dad stood at the pass. Sunday family service. 32 covers booked. Kitchen running smooth. He raised his wine glass over the tickets. Quick announcement before rush hits. I was plating carbonara, hands dusted in pecorino romano. Guanciale crisping, perfect on the pan behind me. I'm officially handing the restaurant to Sophia. She takes over September 1st. The kitchen went quiet. Even Marco the dishwasher stopped spraying. My sister Sophia stood next to Dad. Chef whites so new they still had creases. She'd worn them exactly twice. Both times for Instagram photos. She smiled. That pageant smile she'd perfected in college. Dad looked at me. Marco's been helpful these years, great line cook. But Sophia's got vision. She's my future. He paused, smiled. You're just a silly waiter, son. The pasta water boiled over behind me. Nobody moved to turn it off. I set down the plate, walked to the hand sink, washed the cheese off slowly. Didn't say a word. Dad continued like nothing happened. Sophia's bringing fresh energy, modern concepts. She's got a marketing degree and I dried my hands, untied my apron, hung it on the hook, and kept walking. Out the kitchen, through the dining room, past the host stand, out the front door. I heard Dad call my name once. Didn't turn around. Got in my car. 2011 Toyota Corolla. Smelled like fryer oil and basil. Drove home. Didn't cry. Didn't yell. Didn't slam anything. Just drove. Because here's what Dad didn't know. That carbonara recipe? Mine. The osso buco that got us a write-up in Portland Monthly? Mine. The Sunday gravy that people drove 40 minutes for? Mine. Every single signature dish at Lombardi's family restaurant. I created them, tested them, perfected them over 10 years in that kitchen. Dad thought they were family recipes. Old country magic passed down from his mother. They weren't. His mother made meatloaf and canned green beans. I made everything else. And now he was handing it all to Sophia. Sophia, who couldn't tell you the difference between a brunoise and a chiffonade. Sophia, who thought al dente was a kind of pasta. Sophia, who once asked me if you put garlic in marinara. Let me back up, not far. Just enough to explain how we got here. I started washing dishes at Lombardi's when I was 16. Dad needed help. Mom had just left. Took half the silverware and the espresso machine. I worked after school, weekends, summers. By 18, I was prepping. Chopping onions, breaking down chickens, making stock. By 20, I was working sauté station during dinner rush. By 22, I was running the line when Dad's back went out for 3 months. I kept the place alive. He came back. Took over the pass again. Never said thank you. Just, good. You're learning? I was 28 now. 12 years in that kitchen. 12 years of burns, cuts, late nights, early mornings. 12 years of creating dishes Dad put his name on. And my title? Line cook. Not sous chef, not chef de cuisine. Line cook. Same as the 19-year-old culinary student we hired last month. Sophia was 25. She had a marketing degree from Portland State, a decent GPA, an Instagram account with 4,800 followers. Her restaurant experience? Hosting for 6 months when she was 21, before she quit because standing hurt her feet. That was it. But she was Dad's favorite, always had been. When she made the dean's list, he threw a party, invited 50 people, rented a venue. When I won a local cooking competition at 24, he said, "That's nice," and asked if I'd cleaned the walk-in. When she graduated college, he gave her a car. When I graduated culinary school, he gave me more shifts. So yeah, I wasn't surprised, just done. I got home around 8 p.m. My apartment was small. Studio. 400 square feet. Kitchen barely bigger than a closet. But it was mine. I sat on the couch. Opened a beer. Stared at the wall. My phone started buzzing. I glanced at it. Text notifications stacking up. Dad? Sophia? Dad again. I muted it. Set it face down. Finished my beer. Then I started thinking. Not about revenge. Not about justice. About recipes. Dad kept everything in a black binder. Leather. His initials embossed on the cover. It lived in his office. Locked drawer. I had a key because I opened the restaurant most mornings. That binder held every recipe we used. Handwritten. Measurements. Techniques. Plating notes. Dad's handwriting on the cover and the index. My handwriting on everything else. But here's what those recipes didn't include. Timing. Temperature instinct. When to pull. When to push. When to taste and adjust mid-cook. The things you learn from repetition. From failure. From burning your hands enough times to know exactly when something's ready. You can't write that down. Sophia would have the recipes. But she'd never have the 12 years that made them work. Next morning, I went in early. 5:47 a.m. Restaurant didn't open until 11. I unlocked the back door. Disabled the alarm. Walked straight to Dad's office. Opened the drawer. Pulled out the binder. Flipped through it. Carbonara. My adjustments to the egg ratio. Osso buco. My addition of orange zest and fennel pollen. Bolognese. My 3-hour technique. My spice blend. 43 recipes total. 43 recipes I'd developed. I pulled out my phone. Photographed every single page. Then I put the binder back exactly where I found it. Locked the drawer. Walked to the kitchen. My knives were in my locker. German steel. I'd saved for 2 years to buy them. I packed them in my roll. Grabbed my spare apron. My notebook. My digital thermometer. Left my Lombardi's work shirts in the locker. Took my keys off my keyring. Restaurant key. Office key. Alarm code on a little tag. Set them on the stainless prep table. No note. No explanation. Just keys. And I left. It was 6:23 a.m. The sun was just coming up. I sat in my car for a minute. Looked at the building. Lombardi's Family Restaurant. Established 2001. 24 years of family legacy. Built on my recipes, my labor, my silence. I started the engine, drove away, didn't look back, not once. The calls started around 7:30. I was at a diner eating breakfast, phone on silent, watched the screen light up, over and over. Dad, Sophia, Dad, Sophia, unknown number, Dad again. By noon, I had 47 missed calls. I didn't answer any of them, but I did save one voicemail. Didn't listen to it, just archived it, because something told me I'd need proof later. That afternoon, I applied to 3 restaurants, real kitchens, chefs who'd trained in Europe. Got an interview at Gallo Nero next day. Chef was a guy named Andre. 43. Trained under Thomas Keller. Intense, but fair. You have experience? 12 years, family restaurant. I ran the line. Why'd you leave? I thought about it. Needed to learn from people who actually knew what they were doing. He smiled. Start Monday. I took the job. 40-hour weeks, salary, benefits, and something I'd never had at Dad's place. Respect. Second week at Gallo Nero. Andre was showing me how to properly break down a duck. You've got good hands, he said. Who taught you? Taught myself mostly. YouTube, cookbooks, trial and error, he nodded. That's rare. Most cooks coming from family spots have bad habits. You don't. I didn't respond. He kept working. Family restaurants are tough. Owners think legacy matters more than skill. They confuse nostalgia with quality. I stopped cutting. He looked up. That why you left? Something like that. He wiped his knife. Good. Legacy doesn't plate a dish. Technique does. That stuck with me. Legacy doesn't plate a dish. Dad had legacy. The name, the building. 24 years in business. But I had the skill. The recipes, the techniques, the instincts. And I was done pretending his name was worth more than my work. 4 weeks in, Dad showed up at my apartment. 8 p.m. on a Thursday. I heard the knock, looked through the peephole. He was standing there in his Lombardi's polo, looking older than I remembered. I opened the door halfway. What? Not, hi, not, what's up, just, what? He looked uncomfortable. Can I come in? No, he shifted. Marco, we need to talk. I don't. The restaurant isn't my problem anymore. You just left. No notice. No explanation. I stared at him. You told me I was a silly waiter, in front of the whole kitchen. What did you think would happen? I didn't mean it like that. How did you mean it? He didn't answer. I started closing the door. Wait. He put his hand on the frame. Sophia's struggling. The menu's not working. Customers are complaining. The recipes are all there, but nothing tastes the same. There it was. That's because they're not just recipes, Dad. They're techniques, timing, instinct, things you can't write down, things I learned over 12 years while you thought I was just a silly waiter. So help her, I laughed. Actually laughed. No. You're my son. Then you should have treated me like it. I closed the door. He knocked again. 3 times. I didn't open it. Eventually, I heard his footsteps fade down the hallway. I sat on my couch, pulled out my phone, opened my notes app, started planning something new. Something that would be mine from the first ingredient to the last plate. Something Dad could never take away. Because I'd just learned the most important lesson of my life. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. And build something better without them. Sophia's Instagram lit up my phone at 9 a.m. I was at Gallo Nero prepping fennel. Didn't open it. Just saw the notification preview. Photo of her in Chef White's. Caption started with, New Era. I swiped it away. Kept cutting. Luis leaned over. Yo, you're from Lombardi's, right? I kept my knife moving. Used to be. My mom loves that place. Sunday gravy's insane. Was insane. He looked confused. I didn't explain. Because kitchens talk. And in a week, Sophia's new menu would do the talking for me. That afternoon, Andre had me working family meal. Staff eats before service. I made cacio e pepe. Simple. Just butter, pasta water, pecorino, black pepper. Technique over flash. Andre took 1 bite. Stopped. Looked at me. Where'd you learn to emulsify like that? Practice. No, that's instinct. Can't teach that. He took another bite. You got plans after this? I shrugged. Maybe. When you do, let me know. I'll invest. He walked away before I could process that. Invest. Not a loan, not charity. Investment. Like I was worth betting on. Nobody had ever said that. That night a text came through. Jessica, regular from Lombardi's. Did they change the menu? Went last night? Everything tasted off? I didn't reply. Just opened Lombardi's Yelp page. 4.4 stars. Always had been. I bookmarked it. Checked back 3 days later. 4.1 stars. New review. Not sure what happened, but this isn't the same restaurant. I closed my phone. Got back to work. Because Sophia was learning something I'd known for 12 years. You can't fake instinct. Andre started letting me run sauté during service. Testing me. I kept my head down. Worked clean. Fast. Quiet. One night he pulled me aside after close. You're wasting time here. I looked up. What? You're good enough to run your own kitchen. You know that, right? I didn't answer. Think about it. You've got the hands. Just need the confidence. 2 weeks in, I was walking to my car after a double when my phone buzzed. Dad. I stared at it. Let it ring out. Voicemail notification appeared. I didn't listen, just archived it. Got in my car, sat there, thought about what Andre said. My own kitchen. Not a restaurant. Not yet. But something. I opened my notes app, started writing. Pop-up plan. Small, simple. Weekend farmer's market, maybe. Test a few dishes. See if people paid for my food without Dad's name attached. Next morning, I researched commissary kitchens. Found one that rented by the hour. $40 for 4. Drove there that afternoon. Looked around. Clean. Organized. Available Saturdays. I paid for my first session. Cash. Told nobody. That weekend, I bought a folding table at a restaurant supply closeout. tent, portable burner. Total, $218. Applied for a vendor spot at the downtown Saturday market. Got rejected. All spots filled. Try again next month. I applied to 3 other markets. Got rejected from 2 more. 4th one accepted me. Trial weekend only. If I sold out, I could come back. If not, I was done. No pressure. I spent the week planning. 3 items only. Cacio e pepe. Arancini. Panna cotta. Classic. Clean. No shortcuts. Friday night, I couldn't sleep. Kept running scenarios. What if nobody came? What if the food wasn't good enough? What if I'd built this whole thing up in my head and I was just a line cook who got lucky once? Saturday morning, 4 a.m. I was at the commissary, made risotto, shaped arancini, fried them golden, rolled pasta, cut it, rested it, panna cotta in jars, compote from Oregon berries. By 7 a.m., everything was packed. Drove downtown, set up by 8:47. Market opened at 9. By 9:30, I'd sold nothing. People walked past, glanced, kept moving. I didn't panic. Just kept the water boiling, kept frying arancini. Smells work better than signs. 9:45. First customer, older woman, canvas tote. Looked tired. What's this? Italian food, made fresh. What's good? Everything, but the arancini just came out. She bought one, $7. Took a bite standing there, stopped. Looked at me, took another. Where's your restaurant? Don't have one, just this. She reached into her purse. Business card. I write for Willamette Week. Food section. Can I quote you? My stomach dropped. Sure. She bought 2 more, left. By 11 a.m. I had a line. Not huge, maybe 6 people, but it was a line. By noon my back was screaming. Standing over a portable burner for 3 hours does things to your spine. Burns your calves, cramps your hands. A woman in a yoga outfit walked past. Glanced. Kept moving. Then stopped. Came back. What's that smell? Fried arancini, saffron risotto inside. She ordered 2. Ate one standing there. This is insane. Where's your restaurant? Don't have one. You should. She left. Came back 20 minutes later with 3 friends. By 1:30 the line was real. Not Instagram fake. Actually real. People waiting. Asking questions. Taking photos. I'd brought 30 portions. Sold 28. Made $340. I sat in my car afterward, hands shaking. Not from exhaustion, from relief. People bought my food, not Dad's name, mine. I drove home, slept 4 hours, woke up to my phone buzzing. 23 Instagram followers. I'd posted 1 photo that morning and 1 missed call. Dad. I deleted the notification, opened my notes app. Week 2 plan, more prep, better signage, don't run out. The article dropped Wednesday, not front page, just a small paragraph in the Food and Drink Roundup. Portland's scrappiest Italian food isn't in a restaurant. It's at a farmer's market booth run by a guy named Marco, who cooks like he's got something to prove. Catch him Saturdays, cash only. My phone exploded. Instagram followers jumped to 216. DMs asking about catering, private dinners, pop-up schedules. I replied to everyone, Saturdays only, because I still had my day job, and I wasn't ready to bet everything on a folding table. That same day, my phone rang. Unknown number. Marco, it's your father? I almost hung up. What? Revenue's down. Customers keep asking where you are. Sophia's trying, but she doesn't have 12 years of experience? Silence. You made your choice, Dad. Let her be your future. I hung up. He didn't call back. Saturday, too. I doubled my prep. Brought a friend to help with orders. Sold out by 1:30. $612. More followers. More DMs. More questions I wasn't ready to answer. But one DM caught my eye. Saw the article, interested in discussing investment opportunities, professional only. I stared at it for 10 minutes, then replied, Tell me more. 2 days later, I was sitting in a coffee shop with a woman named Karen. 40-something. Owned 3 brunch spots in Seattle. Sharp, direct, straight. Andre told me about you. Says you've got instinct. Andre talks too much, she smiled. He also says you're stubborn. Good. This industry eats nice people. We talked for 90 minutes. She asked hard questions. Why leave your family restaurant? What's your vision? How much capital do you have? What's your burn rate? I answered honestly, even the uncomfortable parts. At the end, she slid a folder across the table. Preliminary numbers, 80,000, convertible note. We take 12% equity. I didn't open it. Why me? Because you didn't ask for this meeting. I did. That means you're not desperate, just ready. She stood up. Think about it. But not too long. Good chefs don't stay hidden forever. She left. I sat there staring at the folder. $80,000. Enough to stop being a pop-up. Enough to become real. I took it home, read every page twice. Called Andre that night. She offered. And? I'm thinking about it. Don't think. Do. You're ready. I hung up. Looked around my studio apartment. 400 square feet. Futon. Milk crate furniture. This could change everything. Or destroy me trying. I opened my laptop, started drafting an email. I'm in. Sent it before I could second guess. Her reply came in 4 minutes. Welcome to the Deep End Chef. Let's build something. I closed my laptop. Smiled for the first time in months. Not because Sophia was failing, but because I was finally building something nobody could take away. I took a weekend catering gig to bridge the gap. Private birthday party in West Hills. 50 guests. Passed apps. Paid $800 for 12 hours work. My feet screamed. My shoulders ached. But that money went straight into the restaurant fund. Andre called after. You look drained. Almost there, I said. How much more? 5,000 short of opening. He was quiet. Then, you're going to make it. I can tell. I hung up. Stared at the check in my hand. 800, closer to never needing them again. Saturday 3. I arrived at the market with a new sign. Rossi's Table. No explanation, no backstory, just a name. Line started forming at 9:15. Didn't stop until I sold out at 2 p.m., $890. But more importantly, a regular asked, when are you opening a real spot? I smiled. Soon. And for the first time, I actually believed it. The health inspector walked out of Lombardi's at 2:14 p.m. on a Tuesday. I was sitting in my truck across the street. Not stalking, just finishing a coffee between lunch and prep. She held a clipboard. Shook her head at something. Took 3 photos of the dumpster area. My phone sat silent on the dash. No notifications. No calls. Just me watching the place that raised me start to crack. I started the truck. Drove back to my restaurant. Didn't feel triumph. Didn't feel satisfaction. Just the quiet weight of watching something collapse in slow motion. 8 months since I'd opened Rossi's. We were running steady. 78% capacity most nights. Not perfect. Not easy. My head cook quit second week. Said the hours were brutal. I worked his station plus mine for 2 weeks until I found a replacement. Line guy burned himself badly on week 3. Hospital. Out for a month. I covered. Again. Revenue dipped below break-even in January. Slow season. Restaurant Death Valley. I took a catering gig on the side. Kept the lights on. But we survived. And slowly people started talking. Not Instagram buzz. Real word of mouth. Customers bringing friends. Regulars twice a week. The kind of growth you can't fake. Andre stopped by one Thursday to eat at the bar. Ordered the braciole, house salad, glass of Chianti, finished everything. Before leaving, he leaned over the pass. You're ready for number 2. I looked up from plating. What? Second location. You've got the systems, the team, the reputation. Someone else takes the next good spot if you wait. He left. But the idea stuck. I started watching listings, tracking spaces, talking to my investors. Found 3 possibilities. One was the Pearl District, high traffic, expensive. One was Selwood, residential, slower build. One was on Morrison Street, 2 blocks from Lombardi's. I sat in my car outside that space for 20 minutes. Former wine bar. Closed 6 months ago. Good bones. 50 seats. The rent was reasonable, the location was proven. Close enough that anyone driving to Dad's would pass mine first. I called Karen. There's a space, Morrison Street. Near your dad's place? 2 blocks. Silence on her end. Then, that's bold, I like it. We made an offer that week, signed the lease 10 days later. Construction started in January. That's when I heard about the inspection. Not from Dad, not from Sophia, from suppliers. Cisco rep mentioned Dad was on a payment plan. Produce vendors switched them to cash only. Linen service dropped them. Too many unpaid invoices. I didn't ask questions, just listened. Numbers tell stories louder than words. March came fast. My second location opened. Rossi's Morrison, 54 seats, bigger kitchen, same philosophy. Opening weekend, we filled 81 reservations. Not 89. Had empty tables Saturday night. Reviews were mixed first week. Service felt rushed. Food was good, but not as tight as the original. I read every word, made adjustments, hired better, front of house, slowed down ticket times. Week 2 was harder, staff still learning, kitchen timing off. I worked both locations, drove between them like a maniac. Morrison for lunch service, original for dinner. Morrison again for close. Slept 4 hours, repeated. Andre called midweek. You look like death. Thanks. I'm serious. You can't run 2 places alone. I'm not alone. I have staff. You have bodies, not a system. He was right. I promoted my best line cook to sous chef at the original location, gave him keys, trusted him with dinner service while I focused on Morrison. First night I didn't micromanage. 83 covers, no fires, no disasters, just good food sent out by people who gave a damn. I sat in my truck afterward, cried a little, not from stress, from relief. I'd built something that worked without me hovering. That was the moment I knew we'd make it. By week 3, we found our rhythm. That's when he came in. Dad. Thursday night. 7 p.m. No reservation. Alone. Host sat him near the back, handed him a menu. I watched from the kitchen, through the expo window. He looked older, grayer, thinner. He ordered the braciole, house salad, Chianti. When the food came out, he cut into it slowly, took a bite, stopped. Stared at the plate, took another bite, set down his fork. Just sat there. I knew what he was tasting. The recipe he thought was his grandmother's. The one I'd perfected over 4 years. The one that won me a competition when I was 24. The one he barely acknowledged. He finished half the plate. Paid. Left. Didn't ask to see me, didn't leave a note. Just left. Server found a $50 tip on a $32 check. She brought it to me confused. I told her to keep it. Didn't tell her who he was. April brought news through the grapevine. Landlord filed eviction. 3 months unpaid rent. City lien for unpaid business taxes. The information was public. I didn't go looking. But when you're in the industry, people tell you things. Former Lombardi's line cook reached out, asked if I was hiring. Getting out before it sinks, he said. I hired him. Good worker. Knew his stations. He told me what I already suspected. Sophia cutting corners, cheaper ingredients, smaller portions, fewer staff. Trying to save money by making everything worse. It never works. You can't save a restaurant by eroding what made it good. Early May, my phone buzzed during prep. Unknown number. Turned out to be Sophia. Can we talk? I set down my knife. No. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Please, it's important. What? Dad's broke. The restaurant's failing. I don't know what to do. I went back to cutting. That's not my problem. You're my brother. And you got the restaurant. Figure it out. I blocked the number, went back to work. 2 weeks later, my manager mentioned something odd. Saw an insurance appraiser at that old Italian place down the block, taking photos, measuring stuff. I didn't say anything, just filed it away. Buildings get appraised for 2 reasons, sale or claim, and Dad wasn't selling. June brought the inevitable. Lombardi's posted a notice on the door. Temporarily closed for renovations. I drove past it on a Sunday morning. Lights off, chairs stacked, paper covering windows. Didn't look like renovations. Looked like surrender. Sophia posted on Instagram for the first time in months. Photo: the closed restaurant. Caption: sometimes dreams change shape. Thank you to everyone who supported us. Comments were sympathetic. Confused. One asked, "Wait, is this permanent?" Sophia replied, "Just a pause. We'll be back." I closed the app. Didn't believe her. Because I knew the numbers. The debts. The damage. You don't come back from that without a miracle. Or something worse. Early July, my phone rang at closing time. Unknown number. I answered. "Marco Rossi?" "Yeah." "This is Lieutenant Vasquez, Portland Fire Marshal. There's been an incident at 418 Morrison, building fire. Your father listed you as emergency contact." My chest tightened. "Is anyone hurt?" "No injuries. Building's a total loss. I need to ask you some questions about your relationship with the property owner." "He's my father, but I don't work there. Haven't in over 2 years." "Understood. When's the last time you were inside?" 2 years, maybe longer." "You operate 2 restaurants in the area?" "Yes." "Any business disputes with your father?" I paused. "We're not close, but no disputes." "Why?" "Fire started in the kitchen. Accelerant detected. We're treating it as suspicious." My stomach dropped. "Suspicious?" "Yes, sir. We'll be in touch." He hung up. I sat in the empty dining room. Accelerant. Kitchen fire. Insurance appraiser 3 weeks ago. The math wrote itself. I drove to the scene. Trucks still there. Smoke smell thick. Building hollowed out. Yellow tape. Investigators. Cameras. I parked a block away, watched from the truck. Dad was standing on the sidewalk talking to a fire marshal, looking destroyed, hands shaking. Sophia was sitting in a police car, not arrested, just talking to an officer. But the way she held herself, shoulders tight, face down, guilty. I didn't get out, didn't approach, just watched the place that raised me turn to ash, and felt nothing. Not satisfaction, not revenge, not even sadness. Just the quiet certainty that some things burn themselves down. You don't have to light the match, you just have to stop putting out the fires. I started the truck, drove back to my restaurant, opened a bottle of wine, poured 1 glass, and got back to work. Because I had 2 restaurants to run, and a 3rd location in negotiation. The empire I built didn't have time for ashes, only growth. The call came at 6:47 a.m. I was prepping stock, roasting bones, caramelizing mirepoix. Fire Marshal, Lieutenant Vasquez. "We've concluded our investigation. Arson. Your sister Sophia Lombardi has been arrested and charged with 2nd-degree arson and insurance fraud. Arraignment Monday." Is my father involved? Not criminally, but he filed the claim 6 hours after the fire. Either worst timing or worst cover-up. Probably both. I hung up. Stood in the empty kitchen staring at bones. Sophia arrested. Dad's restaurant gone. 24 years of legacy turned to insurance fraud and ash. And me? 2 locations running steady. 3rd lease signed in Southeast. 43 employees. Revenue projecting $900,000 this year. James Beard semi-finalist nomination coming in September. I'd won. But it didn't feel like winning. It felt like watching someone drown while holding a life preserver you chose not to throw. The arraignment was Monday at 10 a.m. I showed up at 9:52, sat in the back, didn't announce myself. Dad was in the front row, alone, wearing a suit from my high school graduation. Sophia walked in wearing county blues, hands cuffed, hair pulled back. She looked small, tired, broken. Our eyes met for half a second. She looked away first. Judge read the charges. Arson, fraud, reckless endangerment. Public defender entered not guilty. Bail set at $75,000. Dad stood. I can post that. Judge looked skeptical. You have $75,000 in liquid assets? Dad hesitated. I can get it. From where? Silence. Judge moved on. Bail stands. Next court date September 19th. Sophia was let out. Dad tried to follow. Bailiff stopped him. He stood there, lost, staring at the door. Then he turned, saw me in the back row. His face collapsed. He walked over slowly, sat 2 seats away. Didn't look at me, just stared at his hands. She didn't mean for it to go this far. I didn't respond. The insurance was supposed to cover the debts. We were going to rebuild. She just wanted to help. By committing fraud, he flinched. We were desperate. You were proud 2 years ago, proud enough to call me a silly waiter in front of everyone. His voice cracked. I was wrong. Yeah, you were. We sat in silence. Courtroom emptied around us. He cleared his throat. I need help, Marco. With what? Bail. Legal fees. I've got nothing left. I'm 62 and broke. You have Sophia. She's facing 7 years. Then figure it out alone. He turned to me. You're my son. I was your son when you handed my work to someone who didn't earn it. When you dismissed 12 years of labor with a toast. When you valued her degree over my decade of sweat. I made a mistake. You made a choice. Choices have consequences. I stood. He grabbed my arm. Please. I looked down. He let go. You said Sophia was your future. She still is. Good luck. I walked out. Didn't look back. Didn't feel good. Didn't feel bad. Just felt done. 2 weeks later, a letter arrived. Handwritten. Dad's writing. Mailed to the restaurant. I opened it during family meal. Short. 3 paragraphs. Marco, I know you won't help. I understand why, but I need you to know I'm proud of you. What you built is bigger than anything I ever did. You didn't need me. You didn't need the Lombardi name. You built Rossi's from nothing. From anger, maybe. From pain, definitely. But you built it. And it's beautiful. I'm sorry I never said that when it mattered. I'm sorry for everything. I read it twice, folded it, put it in my office drawer. Didn't frame it, didn't throw it away, just kept it. Because some apologies arrive too late to change anything. But you keep them anyway. Sophia took a plea deal in October. 4 years. Parole eligibility in 2. Dad sold the lot where Lombardi stood for $112,000. Paid her legal fees, covered his debts. Had $11,000 left. Moved to a 1-bedroom in Gresham. I heard this through the industry. Through suppliers. Through people who knew people. I didn't reach out. Neither did he. We became strangers with shared history, which is what we'd always been. Just took a fire to make it official. Rossi's Southeast opened in November. 62 seats, full bar, private dining room. We packed it opening week. But not without struggle. Permit delays pushed opening back 3 weeks. Lost revenue. Kitchen equipment arrived damaged. Had to reorder. More delays. Staff turnover first month. Trained 3 bartenders before we found the right one, but we found our rhythm. Waitlist hit 200 names by December. Total staff across 3 locations, 61 employees. Projected revenue, year 2, $1.4 million. James Beard nomination came in January. Didn't win, didn't matter. The nomination alone brought press. Customers. Validation. Andre called the day it was announced. Told you. Thanks for believing. I didn't believe in you, Marco. I believed in your work. That's what I invested in. Still, thank you. Don't thank me, just keep cooking. I hung up, looked around my office. Awards on the wall, reviews framed, photos of opening nights, And in the bottom drawer, one photo. Me and Dad in the Lombardi's kitchen. I was 16, wearing a too big apron, smiling. He had his hand on my shoulder, proud. Before Sophia, before comparisons, before everything broke. I pulled it out sometimes, looked at it. Remembered the kid who thought his father's approval was the only success that mattered. Then I put it back, because that kid was gone. And the man who replaced him built 3 restaurants, employed 61 people, and earned a James Beard nomination. Without Dad's name, without his approval, without his legacy, just skill, discipline, and the quiet anger of being underestimated. 6 months after the fire, I was locking up around midnight. Late inventory, deep clean, prep for weekend. Walked to my truck. Someone was leaning against it. Dad, thinner, grayer, older, holding a paper bag. I stopped 3 feet away. What are you doing here? Wanted to see you. You know where I work? Didn't want to make it awkward. He held out the bag. Brought this. Thought you might want it. I looked inside. The black leather binder. The recipe book. It's yours, he said quietly. Always was. I just didn't know it. I pulled it out, flipped through pages. My handwriting, my recipes, my 12 years. Why now? Because it's the only thing I have left that matters, and it never belonged to me. I closed the binder, looked at him. I don't need this anymore. I have my own recipes now, better ones. I know, I've eaten at all 3 locations. That surprised me. When? Different times. Never told staff who I was, just sat, ate, paid. And? He smiled, sad, genuine. You're better than I ever was, by miles. We stood in the alley, sodium lights buzzing. I can't give you money, I said, and I can't fix what happened with Sophia. Not asking you to. Then what do you want? He looked at me. Really looked. Just wanted to say I'm sorry, and that I see you now. Maybe too late, but I see you. I nodded. Okay. Okay. He turned to leave. Stopped. Looked back. You turned out better without me. Don't know if that makes me sad or proud. Probably both. He walked away. Got into an old sedan. Drove off. I stood there holding the binder. Thought about throwing it away. Thought about burning it. Instead, I took it inside. Put it on a shelf in my office. Next to my James Beard certificate. Business licenses, awards. Not because it mattered, but because it was proof that everything I built started with being told I wasn't enough. And sometimes the best revenge is just being better. Not louder, not meaner. Just better. 3 years later, Rossi's had 5 locations. Sophia got out on parole, moved to Seattle, works in marketing for a tech company. We don't talk. Dad's still in Gresham, retired, lives quietly. We exchange texts on birthdays. Nothing deep. Just acknowledgement. And me? I'm still cooking. Still building. Still proving to a ghost that I was never just a silly waiter. Success tastes different when it's built from insult. Sharper, cleaner, earned. 5 restaurants. 140 employees. Revenue pushing 4 million. Everything Dad said I'd never be. Some people inherit legacy, others build it from ash. I chose the second. And I'd choose it again.